Be yourself. We've all heard it, we all want to do it. But the key is we've been coming at it from the wrong side. So today, the flip side of being yourself.
It's good to be alive right about now.
So we've heard people say it all the time, right? Be yourself. But the interesting piece about being yourself is the underlying question is, who am I? And from the time we're newborns, when we're just little itty bitties, we start to get our sense of self from everybody else around us. We're like little mini computers, just downloading information. Everybody else is our parents, our caregivers, our environment, everything else that tells us who we are. We just download it and accept it. But yet we're told to be yourself. So who are we? So unconsciously, we kind of spend our whole life trying to answer that question, who am I? And in elementary school, we begin the process of kind of figuring out who we are through our relationship with others. That's when we start saying, do I fit in there? Am I accepted here? Am I liked over there? We do everything about ourselves kind of through the focus on how others view us again. So we're figuring out this idea, this question of who am I through the lens of everyone else. When we go off to school is when we kind of start for the first time really figuring out, where's my tribe? Where do I fit in? So again, our self-discovery is in relationship to one another. And then we go into high school years. And well, we all know that's a whole nother can of worms, right? We're starting to, in middle school, figure out who we are a little bit more. And then in high school, it's heightened and we start expressing it and kind of embracing it a little bit more than normal. This is why we start having problems with our parents sometimes and things like that, because it's all about our self-discovery and our move inward. And even though we begin to kind of move inward a bit during this time period, where we're kind of starting to say, does that feel good? Does that not feel good? Kind of interpreting it for ourselves. We still are trying to kind of fit in and kind of trying to experience ourselves through others. This is normal. This is the way it happens. However, it still kind of leaves us with the flip side, on the wrong side, if you will, because we're looking outside in. A lot of times it takes kind of a special moment to make us stop and go inward and re-ask that question or those questions from a different point of view. Maybe it takes an illness or a life-changing event, or maybe a lifestyle change, or maybe it's a death, something along those lines that makes us really pause and not any longer take in the outside world as much. It takes an event or a moment that makes us say, you know what, it's time for me to really look at things differently. But so often, even when we do that, because our point of reference has been so much this outside in, we end up with three types of scenarios. One, where we really don't have the answers to who am I, because for so long we've kind of felt lost. And so we really don't know what that answer is. Or two, we've come slowly over time to get to know kind of ourselves on the inside, but now we're worried about being ourselves on the outside and what others might think of us or how it might impact our life if we become real, if we become who we really are on the inside, on the out. Or three, we develop this kind of attitude of screw everybody else, or I don't need to think about everybody else, I've got to be me. All three of these create conflict within us, an internal conflict. Now I'm sure you're thinking, oh Tara, you're going to say conflict is bad, but it's really not. Internal conflict is just another beautiful moment that provides an opportunity for us to have feedback, for us to go back in to our core and to really start entertaining deeper the question of who am I? Remember, life happens for us, not to us. So when things arise inside of us, conflict, inner turmoil, it's always a tool for us to utilize to go back inward. We can either resist the tool or we can accept it as a tool. And whatever we choose to do, That's the trajectory that we then set forth for us to experience ourselves in. So if life is a continuous process of us getting to know ourselves, wouldn't it make sense that we don't resist these internal tools when they come up, but rather we accept life and we accept what life is giving us to utilize for ourselves to better understand that question so that we can just be ourselves? I personally have always struggled with this whole concept of who am I? I hid a lot of my childhood things away from others because I didn't want to hurt them, even though it caused me inner turmoil. Because, as people will say, I have a pretty big heart. And so I was taught that I have to think of others first. And that's what I did. I thought of others first and I kept myself down. So recently, I did indeed have several life-changing events. I had my illness. Basically, all my children are now officially grown and flown. And of course, there's all these things in society that's happening right now that's forcing us to stop and really rethink where we stand on things, who we are. For me, it's always been a process and will continue to be a process of going inward and reconnecting to my sense of self, that powerful place inside me, that creative space that's inside of me. And doing the same thing, asking the same questions, but from a different point of view. So instead of asking it from the outside in, now I ask, who am I, from the inside out? This is a big difference. So it's not the question of, where's my tribe? It's what kind of tribe would I like to be in? So not do I fit in there, but does it feel right to me to fit in that place? The question is no longer, does this person make me happy? The question now is, am I happy when I'm with this person? See, it's the switch. It's the going into ourselves and then looking outward. That's where we figure out who we are, because we've gone into who we are. And then we come out and experience the world from that space versus experiencing the world and bringing it into us. We're now taking us and inserting it into the world, and that's how we find who we are. So it's taking those questions that we've had ever since we were our little itty bitty self and our desire to be ourself and kind of reconnecting. Remember, I'm not saying find or discover. I'm saying reconnecting, because there is a difference. So it's taking all those questions and going back inwards and changing our point of view so that we now can take from the inside out and connect with the world. And that's what's going to give us our feedback on truly who we are. Because then we're coming from our own sense of self, from our own creativity, from our own internal power. And there's the only place to just be you. Okay, y'all, that's it for today. You can go to my website for more information, innerpathcoachingservices.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook and like and subscribe. But more than anything, come back next Friday so we can talk some more. And that, my friends, is just being you.
It's good to be alive right about now.